Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're fine. I hope you're having a great FPL season and you're just staying fit and healthy, guys. Before we get started with today's question and answers in the deadline stream, I'd just like to kind of talk about my last week's performance and how it went. As you can see, I got 37 points last week. I guess the last 2 weeks I've been burnt by the fact that I didn't go for the Newcastle defenders. I mean, people have literally doubled up on them, and I haven't got any defender. So I mean, Trippier got 18 points last week, and 12 points last. The week before the last, and 12 points last week. I mean, it was not good to see. But when I made that decision, I obviously knew the risk, so I'm gonna have to stick with what I chose, guys. And I've seen this week a lot of people kind of wildcarding, and the temptation is there. But I feel that if I kind of panic wildcard, I think it would be just increasing the problem rather than dealing with the problem, because panicking is never a solution for anything in life. As soon as you panic, you lose. That's what I've always learned. So basically, I'm sticking with the team I have for this week. Even in game week 9, I don't really hope that I'm gonna wildcard. I think I'm gonna wildcard really when it comes to game week 10, which was the original plan all along. And so I'm basically gonna stick with the plan, guys, irrespective of like the overall rank is right now is right down in the doldrums. I mean, it's like 3 million, 3.4 million. I don't even know how much it is, but I'm not really paying attention to the overall rank right now. I'm just paying attention to how I want to play the game. I think the rank will take care of itself if I can stick with what I know and how I play. If I keep changing my play styles and keep panicking all the time, I don't think that's gonna help at all. So 37 points last week, guys. Obviously, I had Son. I mean, the biggest disappointment was really Sterling and Ruben Diaz, along with Haaland. Ruben Diaz scored an own goal. I mean, I even had a stupid on the bench. Thank God. Sterling came on. Sterling was really actually good for me, because if Sterling had not come on, I would have actually lost points, because Stupinan would have come on for me then. So, small wins, I guess we take them when we can. But, obviously the season is not going as we wanted to, but we stick to the plan, guys. We always stick to the plan, and we keep going, making the right decisions and hoping that variance will come and help us, because we have a way of playing, and I at least have personally my way of playing, and I'm going to stick with that. Alright, guys, so that was about my team last week, and I've already made one transfer, guys. Chilwell, I've got rid of Chilwell already, and I replaced him with Udogie. So this is how my team looks like. I still have one free transfer, which I think I'm gonna make, obviously, because the defense doesn't look good, and I'm not sure about whether Sterling is gonna start or not. Obviously the captaincy is obviously not on Haaland this week, but just forgot to fix. So yeah, I've still got one free transfer that I'm gonna make, guys. I'm gonna make that on the stream. I was hoping that I can get early team news about Sterling, whether he starts or not. That's what I'm waiting for. If I can find out whether Sterling starts or not, I possibly would like to move on Sterling before I can move on Estupinan, because I'm not expecting too many points from defense. I mean, there's not many good teams having good defensive fixtures this week. I mean, unless you want to get a Fulham defender in Tim Ream or somebody like that. Other than that, there's not really good points to be had in defense. So I might want to replace Sterling before I replace Estupinan. So yeah, that's the plan. That's what I'm thinking right now. Let's see how it goes. So Harry says, so first of all, welcome to the stream, Buckshot, Todd, Zara, Cinema Crazy, Angie, and Harry Davis. Thank you so much for joining, guys. So Harry says, start Højlund or Diaby. Logic says Diaby, but I'm a massive fan of Højlund. To be honest with you, I mean, they're both good starts this week. I mean, I would definitely start both of them if it's possible. If I had to start one, I think I would possibly go with Rasmus. The reason being, Diaby obviously has been injured and did not take any part in the Europa League. He did train, as I've mentioned above, but still, I think Wolves away as compared to Brentford at home. And Rasmus, even though United hasn't been performing well, Rasmus himself has been scoring goals, especially in the Champions League. So he's a good striker. I'd always tend to play the striker, I'd say. Although it's a difficult decision, I must mention. Hey Angie, I hope you're doing well. He said I got 70 points last week. Man, that's insane. I don't know how you got 70 points, man, but that's really crazy. And congratulations on a great week. I hope you're doing well in the rank department. I guess you're gonna be. Just need one break, guys. Just need one good game week, but I don't think that's gonna come. Before I wildcard. So right now I'm just in the survival mode. I'm just trying to survive these game weeks, a couple of game weeks before I can wildcard. Then hopefully he's on 50k. Wow, that's insane, man. Well done. Congratulations. Cinema Crazy says Watkins or Nunez. Personally, I would go with Nunez. I think with Jota being out and Gakpo being injured, I think Nunez will get to start a lot of games. And honestly speaking, I think Nunez can be can be an awesome differential to have in these upcoming weeks. Technically speaking, long term, obviously Watkins is the more safe pick, and if you want an explosive pick, I think Nunez is one of the best. Hey Zara, I am not using my wildcard now. I'm possibly gonna use my wildcard in game week 10 or before game week 10. Right now I'm just gonna stick with what I have, which is not really good, but just gonna stick with what I have. Hey Jackson, welcome my friend. I just made one transfer. I took out Chilwell for Udogie, and I'm possibly gonna make one or even two more transfers, depending on if we can get any news about Sterling, whether Sterling starts or not. Then I'm gonna make two more transfers. So I'm just waiting, hoping we can get some news. If not, then yeah, I'm gonna stick with one transfer, I guess. Cash this week doesn't have a good fixture. I'm gonna get Cash. I can get Cash in place of Estupinan, and I still have one more transfer to make, Angie. So it's not fixed as to what transfer I'm gonna make right now. But I think I think I'm gonna move on Estupinan and maybe Sterling if I get the news if he doesn't start. So yeah. Raghav says, hi, is Bowen or Trippier? This week I'd possibly start Bowen. Bowen, if you own him, I think you should start him. I am late, Wiz. No, you're not late, my friend. I just started. It's been 5 minutes. FPLM Fadzali says, what will be the game week to wildcard if I don't do game week 10? I heard the double game week for City in 19 blank. Yeah, that's true. You can dead end your team into... or you can wildcard in game week 19, yes, that is a possibility, of course. If you don't wildcard in game week 10, you can wildcard after game week 18, or, for that blank. Or after that blank for the double, I mean. Azmir says, hey, Wes, if you're wildcarding this week, who would you pick? I would pick Salah. I would pick Darwin Núñez. I would pick Luis Diaz. I would pick 3 Liverpool players, 3 Spurs players. I would pick somebody like... obviously, I would pick Haaland as well. I would pick Matty Cash. Somebody like 3 Spurs player, as in Madison, Son, and Pedro Porro, Udogie, whichever one you want to as their defender. And I would pick who else? I would pick Dominic Solanke as a striker, along with Haaland. I mean, if you want, you can go with 2 strikers. Depends on what formation you want to play. But 3 Liverpool players, 3 Spurs players, a couple of Aston Villa players, Jared Bowen, along with Newcastle defenders. I mean, that should sort you out, my friend. Turner or Onana to start? I would start Onana, although he hasn't been good. But I think Manchester United need to win, and they can win. Hey, with Son or Salah for the armband? Matea, if I owned both of them, I would possibly captain Salah. But since I don't have Salah, I'm going to have to captain Son. Ahmed says, why Sterling? To be honest with you, the thing is, last week Mudryk scored a goal. Cole Palmer on the right wing has been playing, amazing for Chelsea. So basically there's no place for Sterling really in that team, because I mean, yes, Mudryk was flagged during the week, but the flag's been taken off and Pochettino said he was all right. So if Mudryk is fine, and if Cole Palmer is fine, if Jackson is going to start, then I don't see a position for Sterling in that team. So as long as he doesn't drop one of Mudryk or Palmer, Palmer I don't think is going to get dropped. So basically it's just between Mudryk and Sterling. I don't see much chance for Sterling to start, even though he's got a good fixture. But what good is a fixture if the player doesn't play? So that's why I'm thinking play Cash or DCL. I would play DCL. Hey Wiz, still buzzing off that 6-1. Hey, welcome CAV. And that was a performance and a half, my friend. That was amazing. Watkins hat-trick, and just the overall performance of the team was smashing. Been tough to stay strong on no wildcard this week. It is. I mean, especially if you're on social media, you watch all those people pulling wildcards, teams without Haaland and all those players. I mean, it's hard to keep your finger off the trigger. But I've been staying off social media, and I'm not gonna get suckered into playing my wildcard. If you cannot play your own way, then you're always gonna get. You're always going to jump around, and you never have conviction in your own decisions. Win, lose or tie, I just play my own way, guys. That's at least what I always do, and it has worked for me till now, till today. I'm just trying to improve on my own method. So Angie says Saka to Madison for a -4. I'd say yes. Angie, why not? Lighter says, hey Wiz, who would you switch Sterling to? I would switch him to Luis Diaz, Lighter, because I don't have enough money to afford Salah, and I don't have enough money to take out Joao Pedro for somebody like Darwin Núñez. So to get some Liverpool cover, not only for this week against Brighton, but also next week against Everton, I would take him for Luis Diaz, especially with Gakpo injured. I expect Luis Diaz to get a lot of minutes, and Jota being out as well. So I'd get Luis Diaz. If I had to select one out of Luis Diaz or Núñez, I would go for Núñez, because in midfield you have a lot of good options. In striker, not so much. So I would possibly go with Núñez. Can't see much sense in no Haaland personally. Well, CAV, it's about your strategy. I think the people who are getting no Haaland, they're actually, if you look at the fixtures of City, very tough. Arsenal away, United away, Chelsea away, Spurs home, Liverpool home. So they're banking on Haaland not scoring. But I personally would not go against Haaland. Look at the effective ownership. Come on, 90% owned. If he goes and scores a hat-trick, man, that's just, that you just start rolling the credits then. So it's just it's risk versus reward. When you're whatever you're doing in life, guys, it's always risk versus reward. If, for example, you're playing a game in which the risk is less but the reward is less, you don't want to play that game. If you're playing a game in which the reward is a lot more but at higher risk, you don't want to play that game as well. The real subtlety in making decisions lies in waiting for the moment when risk is less and reward is more. I mean, that's what you need to wait for. So I mean, taking Haaland out, yes, the reward is more, but the risk is also very high, which is what I'm kind of getting at. So I don't play that kind of game. FPL Sam says play Kabore or do a -4. I would prefer, FPL Sam, to be honest with you, if you do a -4, it depends on which player you do it for. But because I don't see any good defense, unless you want to bring in a Fulham defender, I don't see too many clean sheets anywhere in in this game week. For example, let's just look at the fixtures really quickly. So if you see here, I mean, Luton versus Spurs, we already have one Spurs defender. If you don't, yes, you can bring in Pedro Porro or somebody like Udogie. Otherwise, Burnley, Chelsea, I don't see a clean sheet. Maybe for Chelsea, but I don't see a clean sheet in this game. Everton versus Bournemouth, you can never... I won't pick Pickford from the start of the goddamn season. Everton haven't even kept a clean sheet against Luton, so at home, what do you expect of them? Fulham versus Sheffield, yes, Fulham can keep a clean sheet. Fulham have been defensively strong, so you can go with somebody like, Ream or Castagna. Yes, yes, you can. Why not? But that's a very short term, because if you see next week, Fulham, they play away to Spurs, I think. So it's just you have to compartmentalize what you're doing. Then, I mean, to be honest with you, if I had to get one defender for 2 game weeks, like game week 8 and game week 9, I would maybe get a United defender in Diego Dalot, or somebody like Varane, Lindelof. Because if you see here, I mean, this is not a bad fixture. Brentford haven't been doing all that well. Although United haven't been playing well, but still they've got 2 good fixtures: United versus Brentford and United versus Sheffield United. So I think you can, if you want, go with somebody like a Diego Dalot. Has a bit of an attacking threat as well. So Crystal Palace defender, okay, yes, you can get one. I mean, you can get Mitchell, you can get you can get Anderson, or you can get Gehi for this week. But then what will you do next week against Newcastle away? So there's like no good defenders for 2 weeks except, I think, United. I've gone through all the fixtures, so I know. I mean, yes, Liverpool defenders look good for the next 2 weeks because they play Brighton away and they play against Everton at home. But the thing is, who will you get? And the good ones are expensive. Maybe unless you want to get somebody like a Matip, whose position is not nailed on, because now Konate is fit, Joe Gomez is fit, so it's a bit of a risk. Otherwise, if you want, you can get a Liverpool defender as well. West Ham, they play Newcastle, obviously. Next week they have a decent not a decent, I mean, they have a difficult away game against Aston Villa. They play, so no defenders here. Newcastle also, they've got a tough game this week. I expect West Ham to score against them, even though Newcastle have a great defense. I expect Jared Bowen to play as a striker this week, and I think West Ham can score against anyone. Although Newcastle have been really good defensively. So, then comes Wolves versus Aston Villa. Yes, you could go, but you already own Matty Cash, and Arsenal versus City, you already know the answer. So not really one good fixture in which you really would say, okay, I put my money on this team to keep a clean sheet, except maybe Fulham. Arsenal away isn't. Buckshot said Son or Salah captain. I would go with Salah captain, Buckshot, because I think I think Salah, one, he plays more minutes. He's nailed on most of the time. And Son is been getting taken off a little bit early. That is the reason I would go with Salah captain. And also, I think Brighton have been conceding a lot of goals for fun. So yeah, that's also a reason. Arsenal away isn't honest a great Haaland captaincy. Yeah, you can. Why not? I mean, Arsenal. The thing is, Arsenal defense is not the issue. Issue is the Arsenal attack, because I mean, Martinelli is injured, Saka is injured, and even Thomas Partey, the base of the midfield, has been injured. So it's Arsenal haven't been at their glittering best, but they've been getting the job done, I guess. Banking on the best scorer of the leagues not to score is bold. True that. Doing a Stupinan to Poro or Cash, which one? Also thinking Saka to Son, captain for a -4. I like both those moves. I would move to Poro and Son, CAV. Raghav says, I'm not backing the Gunners. No way. Not in this game. I'm hoping they win. I mean, obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan. I want them to thrash City, but the thing is, Bernardo Silva coming back is not good for Arsenal, and with Saka being injured is also not good for Arsenal. When Rodri got the red card, I was hoping the chips are lining up in our favor. But the thing is, as soon as that happened, what happened was Saka got injured, and it's just we don't have any other players to replace him, really. I mean, Reece Nelson can play there. Maybe, Leandro Trossard can play there. Gabriel Jesus on left wing and Nketiah as a striker. But they're just makeshift arrangements. And Manchester City, they have only really, they're missing Kevin De Bruyne from the start of the season. So we can't really count him as missing. But I mean, they're missing Rodri, yes, but then they've got players to replace him. I mean, they can easily play Bernardo Silva there. They already have Nunez. So I think Arsenal are at a greater disadvantage. Raghav says, hi, was my wildcard team Sanchez? I would not go with Sanchez, man, to be honest with you. I would simply go with Areola and Turner. Cash, Anderson, Pedro Porro, okay. So Cash, Anderson and Pedro, okay. Bowen, Madison, Son, Salah, Watkins, Alvarez, Isaac. To be honest with you, I don't like that, Raghav. I don't like the Isaac pick because I'm not sure about Newcastle's strikers. Also, I'm not sure about no Haaland. If I was you, I would definitely find a way to put Haaland in the team. Guys, I'm sorry if I'm not able to answer questions quickly. These long questions are just require long answers. However, I've activated the wildcard, says Yesas. Turner, Areola, that's fine. Defense, Odogi, Trippier, Gehi, Cash, fine. Taylor is okay. Bowen, Salah, Madison, Son, Diaby. I mean, it's just the same template over and over again. Everybody just... I like Alvarez, Watkins and Darwin, but to be honest with you guys, going against Haaland is not my cup of tea. So yes, I like the team, I like the look of the team, but playing against 90% effective ownership is not for me. If it is for you, if you can digest watching the game without Haaland in your team, it's fine. I mean, the teams look absolutely fine, and I like the Darwin pick over Isaac, Raghav. So if you want, you can go with Darwin as well. CAV says, thanks for his first hit of the season, but happy with it. Also need Sterling to start. CAV, that's the issue with me as well. I mean, I want Sterling to start too, but I'm hoping I'll get some information because I need it. I really need it. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in a problem, because I've got like 4 players in the Arsenal versus City game, and if Sterling also does not play, it's gonna be another bad game week. I'm really just counting on basically these Tottenham guys along with Bruno Fernandes and Sterling to give me something this week to save me. Otherwise, it's curtains, my friend. It's curtains. I'm telling you. I just honestly, I just wish somebody would just kind of give me information about Sterling. Somebody would tweet. Somebody would say something. I'm going through the tweets. I see nothing on Sterling, which is not good. Yeah, obviously. So George says, hi, Wiz. So Saka is officially out then. He's not out, George. No, he's actually the news which came out last night was Saka has a chance to play against Manchester City, but the problem is it's not going to be on full fitness, and a half fit Saka is no good. That's what I want to say. Although he gave an assist to Gabriel Jesus in the Champions League game and then he was taken off injured, but you're not playing against RC Lens, are you? You're playing against Manchester City. And you know how Pep likes to play. He likes to play somebody like Guardiola or Akanji. He will play on that side and he will tell him to man mark Saka. And Arsenal, the problem with Arsenal is Arsenal are reliant on 2 or 3 players for their creative onus. And if they get stopped by if the supply lines get stopped and the players are man marked, I don't think that we've got enough guile in the midfield to break down City. News is that Saka's okay. Expect Diaby to start too. I agree. I think Saka's gonna start, and I also agree that Diaby is gonna start as well. Salah's overhyped. He's not overhyped, Angie. I mean, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had Salah in our teams. It was just a default template pick. He's that good, my friend. So I think Salah's... If I could have Salah in my team, I would put Salah in my team, my friend. There's no questions, no doubts there. Abhijit says, how would your wildcard draft be for this week? Abhijit, it would be a couple of Newcastle defenders. Keeper would be Areola and Turner. Then I would have 3 Liverpool players and 3 Spurs players, along with Haaland. So that would sort you out, I guess. Would you start Flecken or Areola? I would start Areola, Gassemi. Although I expect both of them to concede. Maybe Areola can keep a few more, make a few more saves, you know. The problem with starting Flecken is, I mean, United don't attack all that much, but if they score 1 goal, just lose a clean sheet anyway. So at least we go for the player who wants to make or who can make more saves. Nato or Alisson? I would go with Alisson. His prime's over, little buddy. No, his prime is not over. Far from it. If you see him playing, I mean, he's still playing at an insane level. You know, he hasn't lost his pace, he hasn't lost his touch, he hasn't lost his finishing. So how can we say that his prime is over? I mean, as long as he doesn't, go to Saudi or some other club, I think is an amazing option. Desmond says, hi, will sell Bruno for Luis Diaz for a -4. Desmond, I don't think so. I think this week you can keep Bruno. Bruno's the only actually United player who I would recommend at this moment in time, except their defenders. But I don't think you need to do it this week, not especially for a -4. So if it was for a free, then I would say yes. But for a -4, I would say no. Because I think Bruno at home is a good option. He's on penalties and you never know. United have been having a difficult time, but I expect them to turn it around. And Brentford are not playing as well as they were at the start of the season as well. So I would keep Bruno. In the end, that's the conclusion. Again, back on Twitter to see if I have anything on Sterling. I don't think we're going to get anything on Sterling, to be honest with you. And that is not good. Start Mbumo or Mitoma? Oh, this is such difficult questions, man. I would start Mbumo, I guess. I would really... I'm just sorry I'm not answering the questions. I'm just going through Twitter, guys. I'm trying to find any leaks about Sterling. And I know not many people are interested in that leak. But for my team, I think it's very important that I know whether Sterling is starting or not this week. Which I don't think. Because if you kind of go to Emma at Jump the Wave on Twitter, they do predictions on all the different teams. And I mean, if you go on this prediction, I mean, you'll see why I'm trying to Aston Villa, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. So you see here, guys, I mean, even the most engaged fans are not sure. See, they think Palmer's definitely going to start. He's 88%. But if you look at Broya, 35, Sterling, 45, Jackson, 65, Mudryk, 72. So that is where all the fans are confused, because basically 2 out of these are going to start. Broya, I think he got injured last week or he had an issue, so maybe Broya doesn't start. I don't know about. He has rumored to be trained, but I don't think they're going to take a risk because he's already coming back from a long-term injury. But Sterling, Jackson, and Mudryk. I'm not sure if Pochettino is the type of manager who's going to play a false 9 and start Sterling there as long as he has a striker available. So basically, it's between Mudryk and Sterling because I don't think Palmer's going to go out. So I'm basically. I think Sterling's gonna miss out this week, guys. As long as we don't get any news, I fear he's gonna miss out. Start Mbomo or Mitoma. Yeah, I think you can start. None of them are in really good form, to be honest with you. But I expect Brighton to be a better challenge for Liverpool, so I'd start Mitoma. Just Saka to Son, Saka to Son, captain, bench Archer, or Archer to Darwin, captain, bench Mbumo. Todd, I'd say Saka to Son, captain, bench Archer. I think that makes more sense. Because Saka is having a difficult game as well. Even if he's fit, I still feel that it's a tough game, and that way you'll have more flexibility in your team. Because yes, you can get Darwin later as well. But I think out of these transfers, obviously Archer to Darwin would be good, but I would like for you to have Son. Even if you don't captain him, it's good to have him in your team against Luton. They don't play a very deep-lying defense, and I think this is the kind of team which Son exploits. Burnley's, Luton's. I think this is the reason he was not really good against Sheffield United, because they play a very deep, low-lying block. I think these are not the kind of team which Son really excels against. So I would prefer to have Son against Luton rather than have Son against Sheffield. That's what I think, my friend. Recently the calls have not been good for my own team, but that is what my opinion is. Angie says, if you could go Saka to anyone, who would it be? I would take him out for Salah if I had the money. If not, then I'd possibly take him out for Luis Diaz and upgrade Joao Pedro to Darwin Núñez. Liverpool have a crazy fixture run coming up, and I don't want to miss that. Play Solanke and Burn, or Trippier and Archer. I think Solanke and Burn. Long term, obviously, you want to have Trippier in your team. If you kind of want him long term in your team, then you can go with Archer and Trippier. But Archer can never be a playing 11 player. However, Solanke and Burn, they can both go into the playing 11 most weeks. That's the difference. So it's one excellent player and one bench player, along with two good players. So you have to decide between that. Abhijit, sorry. Yeah. Did I go back or not? Oh, I'm still on that. Sorry. I need to go back to my team. Sorry, guys. So I was showing you the predictions between of the Chelsea fans for this week. And they're not even sure who's going to start. 45% think Sterling, 72% think Mudryk, and 55% think Jackson. It's kind of weird, hard to kind of call it myself. Watching all the games, still hard to call that one. Chelsea, I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. I think the only one nailed on is Palmer. I think he's not going out of the team, especially after those performances. The through ball for Broya was good, and his overall just patience and keeping hold of the ball is better than what Sterling gives you. Yes, Sterling gives you more attack, more panic, but that's exactly what you need if you need a sub off the bench. Then he's a perfect substitute material, I guess. Let's see how it goes. Hey Barry, I hope you're doing well. CAV says Broya starts. Well, if Broya starts CAV, then there's no place for Sterling, flanked by Mudryk and Palmer, where does Sterling go? I think he goes out of the team and sits on the bench is the issue. Although, I'm against Burnley, I think Sterling would be a really, really awesome player to have, because Burnley try to play out from the back, and, they can sometimes get caught on the counter-attack. They lose the ball high up the pitch if you press them. You know, I'd love if Sterling starts. I'd love to keep him, but last week, 0 points, just not cutting it out for me. Navneet says, will Luis Diaz get enough game time in the coming weeks? I think Luis Diaz will get enough game time, especially with Gakpo injured, with Jota out for this game at least, and yes, I think Luis Diaz should be fine. CAV says I'd start Sterling over Mudryk, but I'm not choosing the team. Yeah, of course. I would start Sterling over Mudryk too. But the thing is, Mudryk has scored a goal. I mean, Pochettino doesn't want to take away his confidence. The little amount of confidence he would have gained from scoring that goal, I don't think Pochettino wants to risk, one chance of losing that, him losing that confidence. So in my personal opinion, I don't see any way that Mudryk starts over Sterling. I don't. Or Sterling starts over Mudryk, I mean. But who to pick between Diaz and Nunez? I would pick Nunez, Navneet. Because I think there's many good midfield options. There's not many good striker options. So I'd possibly pick Nunez. Hey Barry, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Barry says, Botman and Stupinan for Trippier and Cash. Been slacking lately. Probably a bad week to get Trippier in anyway. The issue is not getting Trippier. The issue is -4. So you're taking out Botman and Stupinan and bringing in Trippier and Cash. I mean, both Trippier and Cash have got difficult fixtures, and I expect both of them to concede. That is the issue. Saka or Luis Diaz? I think Luis Diaz. If you're on a wild card, I would pick Luis Diaz then. Depends how bad the knock was, but I agree with you. It wasn't an issue. CAV, I think they already said on the news that Mudryk should be all right, and they would be in the squad. Whether they start or not is a different issue, obviously. By the way, guys, if you're already wildcarded and you don't have any Liverpool defenders, you can also think about Liverpool defense. They've got some really good fixtures coming up. You can think about somebody like Virgil van Dijk as well. If you're on a wildcard, I would go with Luis Diaz. I'm gonna go with Nunez. Definitely Nunez. -4 Saka to Diaz. The -4s are the issue, guys. That's the problem. I'm not saying that, like Saka, obviously you want long term in your team. You don't want to get rid of Saka permanently, is a great option, especially this season. Even when he's not playing on his best, he's not playing his best, he's still giving you so many points. I mean, 53 points. How many players have got more points than Saka, guys? I mean, come on, points per match, he's number 1 of 310 players. So it's just, yes, he's injured. He's been out for one game. I don't think that long term you should not get rid of him. Yes, for one game, if you want to take him out, you can. Stupinan to which 6.7 million defender, man, 6.7. No good defenders, my man. I'd possibly simply move him to Virgil van Dijk or somebody of that order. This week is not a good week to be buying defenders because you'll not get instant gratification, guys. Really like the cash pick, but already have 2 Villa. He may even be further forward in this tough away game. Yeah, I agree that. The cash has been really attacking, and he has a really high XG as well. I like the cash pick a lot. And if I get news that Sterling is starting, I'm possibly going to move a Stupinan to cash. But let's see what happens. Navneet, I've already answered, my friend. I think Nunez is better because in midfield you can get Maddison, you can get Son, you can get Bruno Fernandes. There's like many options in midfield, and you can get Salah along with one more player. In Gordon, whoever you want to go for. But in strikers, you don't have that many options. So if I was you, I would go with Nunez. Salah versus Son versus Bruno captaincy. Please explain in short. I'm on a duty and don't have much time to focus. All right, Ashish. If I was you, I would possibly captain Salah. Salah, I think, is the Brighton has been conceding a lot of goals recently. And Liverpool have been good. I mean, especially after the last loss, I think they would want to quickly come back and not lose the form they have been in. And Liverpool have been increasingly looking good. So if I was you, I would possibly captain Salah here. With Son, he's good, but one thing, he plays the first game of the game week, which we always don't like, because we have to go, if he doesn't perform well, then we have to sit through the game week with big guys and behind a sofa. Second, Bruno Fernandes. I think Manchester United have been not playing that well, and although it's good to have Bruno in your team, I don't think it's good to captain him. So just simply I would captain Salah. Van Dijk or Robertson. Robertson is okay, but I don't think you need to spend extra for Robertson, because this season it's not that attacking. Because especially if Luis Diaz plays on that side, Robertson, because Luis Diaz runs with the ball, so Robertson doesn't get enough time to overlap. So the assists are difficult to come by. Cash or Anderson. Long term, I would go with Cash. This week, obviously, Anderson is better. Oh, sorry guys, let me have a drink of water. Too many questions coming in today. Right. I'm just trying to find out what's going on about. I don't think there's gonna be any early team news, guys. I think it's gonna have to make my decision. Really don't think there's gonna be any early team news today. Although I was hoping there would be, but not. I guess. Well, let's wait and watch. We still have like 20 minutes to go. 22 minutes to be precise, and if I don't get any information by 3:20, I'm possibly gonna make my transfer. Right. So guys, let me take you to my transfers page, since there are no more questions to answer here. Just a second. So let me take you here on this page, and so if you see this, guys, and I've got the issue which I really got in my team here is Viz, any news on Diaby starting? Please help on my wildcard. Confused between Diaby and Almiron. I think Diaby trained yesterday for the first time this week. He did not play in the midweek game. I think he should be okay to start. And if you're on a wildcard, I mean, you're getting a player for the longer term. Decide which player you want for the longer term and get that player. Even if he doesn't play 1 week, it won't make a big difference. Estupiñán to Virgil can be a good option. I mean, not this week, but the next 3 games are really favorable for Liverpool. So, if you're on a wild card, I would definitely think about getting a Liverpool player. If not, I still feel that, can be a good option. 3 Liverpool on my wild card in game week 10. I will get 3 Liverpool players. Definitely will. Even though all 3 might be attackers. So guys, in this team, obviously the problem, or Estupiñán is the issue here. I have to get him out. The problem is there's no good players to bring in for this week. I mean, for example, if I bring in Cash, it doesn't help me in any way, because he plays against Wolves away, and Wolves is the team who just beat Manchester City. So do I really expect a clean sheet from Matty Cash or Aston Villa against Wolves? I do not. Obviously the second move, which I think is which I want to make, is Luis Diaz, especially with like wildcards flying all around the place. I want to get some Liverpool cover, and I think Luis Diaz is the best option. Yes, people can think about Szoboszlai or Darwin Núñez, but for my team, the ideal situation is to take out Sterling, who's been in and out of the team and not in good form. Ever since I brought him in, he hasn't got me more than 2 points. And bring in Luis Diaz. So one I can do is I can simply let Estupiñán stay in my team and bring in Luis Diaz and just play one out of Bayer or Kabore. That leaves me with basically Ruben Diaz in defense against Arsenal. It's just, it's tough, guys. Or I can obviously take a -4 and I can bring in both of them, which is obviously another option, and which gives me an Aston Villa player for next week against West Ham at home. Then in game week 10, even if he like increases in price, I've got him for all these good fixtures. But since I'm going to wildcard in 10, I don't need to look that far ahead. So the issue would be I won't have good defense. But the question is, do we really need good defense this game week? Because are we expecting a lot of clean sheets? I am not. I really am not. So, or one more option could be, as I already discussed on the stream previously, Delo. It can be a good option, guys. Because if you see here, I need a good defender for 2 weeks. And he plays against Brentford and he plays against Sheffield United. And they're both like teams or games in which they can keep a clean sheet. So yeah, I mean, it's touch and go. I'm thinking about which one to get. Matty Cash has obviously been more attacking. Delo hasn't got any attacking returns, this season as of now. So, but this is a good option as well. For the next 2 weeks, you can bring in somebody like Delo. Obviously, the easiest one to just get is a Newcastle defender, because technically everybody has a Newcastle defender. And Dan Burn obviously scored in the Champions League as well. So, just thinking at the back of my mind as to whether I want to take a -4 or simply stick with Stupinan and play one out of Bayer and Kabore. Obviously, it's going to be Bayer. It's not going to be Kabore. But yeah, you get the point. I'm using wildcard, Salah or Trippier. Whom to choose to manage the budget? I would choose Salah over Trippier. Although if I was on a wildcard, I'd choose both of them. But if I had to choose one, I'd select Salah. Because Salah is captainable over the next few weeks. Look at these fixtures, guys. Come on. I mean, Everton home, Nottingham Forest home, Luton away, Brentford home, Fulham home, Sheffield away, Crystal Palace away. I mean, Salah is captainable in these games, guys. Come on. I mean, I wish I would have had Salah right now, but I don't. So I'm just going for a budget Salah, or I hope he can cover for Salah. I don't know. You know what I mean. Yeah, I'm on Twitter as well, just checking to see if anybody will give me some leaks. But when we really need them, we never get them. And on Twitter, everybody seems to be going for Pedro Porro and not for Udogie. People have got lots of money, guys. People have got lots of money to spend, and I do not have that kind of money. Best 3.94 million defender. I'd say Taylor from Burnley is fine. Bear is okay. Billy, to be honest with you, there's not really a best 3.9 million defender. I mean, they're all just enablers. But if you look at the fixtures, I'd say that Burnley have the kinder fixtures coming up as compared to Luton. So I'd possibly think about Taylor or even Jordan Bear. Porro is better than Udogie. Porro, I think, is better crosser than Udogie. He has more assist potential. If you see the last game against Liverpool, it was Porro's cross that actually hit Joel Matip and went in. So in that sense, yes, I mean, Porro is a better asset in terms of assist potential. Udogie, I think, in the box has more of a goal threat. If he can get into the box, that is. In the last few games, which have been tough, obviously against Arsenal and against Liverpool, he hasn't been able to get ahead. But now the fixtures are becoming kinder, so I hope Destiny Udogie will be able to, repay the faith. I guess. Is it bad to start Areola and Burn together as they're playing each other? Gasemi, it's just each and every week you will have some conflict of interest. So it's better to. If you want, you can start them together. I don't think there's a big issue. In the end, you're not expecting them to score against each other. In the end, you're just expecting a clean sheet, and maybe it's going to be a 0-0. Who knows? So every week there's going to be conflicts of interest, so you can't do anything about it except to just live with it. Zara says, why not Bowen over Diaz? Because Jared Bowen has a fixture against Newcastle and then against Aston Villa. and after that I'm gonna wildcard. So I just need a good player for 2 weeks rather than a player for the long term. So that's the reason I'm going with Diaz rather than Jared Bowen. That's my rationale. I mean, to be honest with you, if I didn't have Udogie, I people could think about that. I could get Richarlison, I guess. Good afternoon, Imran. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Welcome to the stream. We've got 15 minutes to go. Who to cap, Son or Haaland? Out of these two, I have selected Son, but I think both are decent options. I think Haaland will score against Arsenal. Hey, Wiz, the best Pope replacement other than Areola? Allison? But yeah, obviously you don't want to spend that much money. Johnston again, but you know, there's not many really good keepers in the game right now, which I can recommend to you. You know, but based on the fixtures, you can you know, you can think about the West Ham goalkeeper. Obviously, Areola is there. Even the Aston Villa goalkeeper, longer term, I think can be good. You know, Salah or Haaland. I don't have Son. I would captain Salah, Imran. Going against Gandhi with Abhijit, it's very hard to go against Gandhi, but I don't have any options to captain. If I don't captain Son, who am I going to captain is the issue. Obviously, I don't want to captain Haaland. Jackson, I haven't made any transfers except for the Udogie transfer, which I made like 3 days back. Right now, I'm still waiting to see if I get some news. I don't see any news on Twitter today. Guys, Richarlison, Son, Kulusevski and Porro start. I'm not even sure. What does this mean? I think we already know they start, but there's some leak on Twitter. But we already know they start, so it might be somebody just playing a game. We know that Son, Maddison, Richarlison, Porro, they're going to start, so essentially it won't make a difference. Yeah. I don't see any news on Twitter, by the way, guys. I think I need to 2 more minutes and I'll make my transfers. So Stupinan for cash, Sterling to Luis Diaz. Hey Viz, will you be watching the Cricket World Cup in India? Likewise, I do watch it. Unfortunately, where I live in North India, there's a cricket ground like 1.5 hour drive from my house, but there's no matches there this time around, so I won't be able to go and watch the game in person, but I'm definitely going to be supporting from the telly, you know. And yeah, it's a festival in India when there's a World Cup of cricket, and you know, you want to be there and see the atmosphere for yourself. But unfortunately, there's no easy way for me to get to a ground because all of them are pretty far away. India is a big country, you know. So I'm going to be watching from the telly and supporting, but not in person, I guess. Can't go. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're on a wild card, you have to consider Dominic Solanke and Darwin Núñez. You have to consider Darwin Núñez, definitely. I think he's, with Jota out and you know, with Gakpo out, I think he's going to get a lot more minutes, and when he starts, I think he can be explosive. With the fixtures coming up against Everton and against all these teams, he's going to be really great option to have. Possibly might get him on my wild card. Yeah. Alvarez out for Darwin. No, not for Alvarez. No. Alvarez, I think, is a. I mean, look, the price versus points of Alvarez are out of this world, and I mean, Pep doesn't just seem to drop him. He plays him in all the games. He plays him in the EFL Cup. He plays him in the Premier League. He plays him in the Champions League. I think Pep seems to love Alvarez for some reason so much that he just doesn't want to drop him, even for his fitness. That's insane how much he plays him, and I would not take him out. Is Almiron a good pick? Like, does he get good game time? Almiron is fine. Sometimes Murphy plays there. Almiron plays there, obviously, and now with the I think one of their players is out. They've got some injuries, Newcastle, in their forward lines, but not severe injuries. But I think Almiron should be safe. He's coming back into form, so I think he should be all right. Can't seem to afford Salah, Darwin. Is it okay to go for Diaz and Darwin instead? Azmir, if you are on a wild card, don't go for Diaz and Darwin. I think you have to go for Salah and Darwin. If you can't afford, then leave Darwin out, but don't go without Salah, because the thing is, Salah is captainable material. You will never be able to have the confidence to captain Darwin or Diaz. That is the problem. Otherwise, I have no problems going for Diaz and Darwin Nunez, but the issue is you will never be able to captain them. Salah you can captain. Will Foden start? Says Todd. Todd will. I think he will start. I don't see a reason why he should not start. But let me see. If Haaland starts here and Alvarez starts here, Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva, and where's the place for? Hang on, guys. I'm confusing myself a bit here. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't start. But let me see here. Yeah, Foden seems nailed to start. People think 88% of the people think he's going to start. If we have notes on this, then we'll have a better clarity. So yeah, there you go. So Haaland, Alvarez at number 10, Foden, Grealish. So basically Doku's the one who seems to be, people think is going to miss out in place of Grealish, for Grealish. So Bernardo, Kovacic, obviously Bernardo coming back is a real negative for Arsenal. This guy is just a monster, mentality monster, holds the ball so well in the middle of the field, he controls everything and makes the odd foul when he needs to. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Ake, Guardiola, this combination, I'm telling you why he's starting Ake here, because he wants, or even Guardiola, he'll put him on Saka. If Saka starts, he'll put one player. Last season, what he did was he put Akanji on Saka and told him, you don't have to do anything, just man mark this guy. And in the midfield, they had Rodri and Bernardo Silva cutting the supply lines. It was so effective, guys. Arsenal could not do anything against them. It was just... I don't want to remember that game, but it wasn't good. Anyways, guys, let's go back and make our transfers. I think we've had enough time. We've given enough time to the ITKs to give us some news, and nobody gave us any news. So it's time. It's time. Man. The ITK is asking any Sterling news. What? You're the ITK, bruv. You're the ITK. You gotta tell us. You're asking us. How do we know? Come on. This guy is asking. Any news while I've been gone? No news. Nketiah missed a handful of chances. That's why you lost last season. Nah, Nketiah. Nketiah's never been that clinical anyway, so he will miss chances. He's not one of the best strikers around anyway. So expected to miss chances. Might start Archer over Sterling. If you want, you can. Man, he scored a couple of goals. He was good, or maybe 1 goal, 1 assist, but not done anything. I mean, Sheffield have been a shambles. The only thing I'm mulling over is to whether get cash or not. Long term it makes sense, but the thing is, for my team taking a hit, the issue is if I don't want to go for, let's say I don't want to go for a defender, don't have any other real updates. I mean, I would love to upgrade Ruben Diaz, because the thing is, too many players. I'll get rid of both of them actually. Don't have a major issue here. Don't have a major. I mean, obviously the best team to bring a defender against is Sheffield United, but that's not. I don't want to bring in a player. And next week they play against Tottenham away, and then again another issue. Diaby or Ward-Prowse? Diaby, my friend. I've been waiting for the Arsenal versus Manchester City banter to start. Go the Gunners. Well, it's just if Saka was fit and Martinelli was fit, I think we had a good chance. Especially if Rodri was out, I think we would have had a decent chance against them. With KDB out and with Rodri out, even Bernardo Silva was not playing, and suddenly they start getting more fit players and we don't. We start getting more injuries. It's just the worst. The both our best wingers being injured. Diaby or Bowen? Jared Bowen. It's at the Emirates. I think you got it. It's not that simple. Our defense has been faltering a bit anyway. One draw would be good if that happens. Alright, let's go for it. Enough dillying-dallying. Jordan Bear, you're my first sub. Don't let that man Sterling get near your goal. I'm telling you right now, Bear, you're my first sub. Do not let Sterling go close to your goal, I'm telling you, bro. Kick him. Don't let him get close. I guess. Well, I think Son is the better option, CAV. But obviously it gives you more funds matters. But I think Son is, if I had to go for one, I would go with him. Right, guys. I've made my transfers with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Please lock your teams. I'm not answering any more questions. I'm not gonna read any more comments about the questions. Please go and lock your teams, guys. Later on, don't tell me you missed the deadline, please. CAV, I think your decision was right. Sterling hat-trick off the bench incoming. I won't mind that. If he's benched, then my decision is vindicated. That's all I want. Turner or Flecken? Turner. I mean, you can go with any one of the two, but I say you can take a chance with Turner. The both actually. Turner or Flecken? I think they're gonna score United. So I'd say you take a chance with Turner, bro. Turner or Onana? Onana. I would go with Onana. Guys, lock your teams. 45 seconds to go, please. We don't have the time. Turner or Areola? Such difficult ones. Areola, you can start for more save points. I think you can go with Areola, my friend. Palace only have 11 senior players. That is true, but whenever they're backs against the wall, they just find a way to win. Even last, they won at Old Trafford. They just find a way to win somehow. They have that grit, especially with with their coach, Roy Hodgson coming back. I think it's given them something. Guys, lock your teams. 5 seconds to go. Please lock your teams. Can't stress enough. No, I've gone against Gandhi. Now it's gonna come back to bite me. Alright, it's time, guys. It's deadline. So, today was a bit... I did not expect that many questions. Today, I did expect a lot of questions regarding the wildcards, but today was a bit insane regarding the questions. I hope I was able to answer. Today I answered questions in a more detailed manner, guys. Because I feel that when I answer questions, I think it's not just one person's question. I think it's a question for the wider audience as well. So I try to answer it in a lot of detail. And as long as you don't join late, I think it gives you a lot of perspective as well. Angie says I've captained Son, but I'm worried a Haaland hat-trick is coming. If even if a Haaland hat-trick is incoming, if you own him, then you should be happy. Second hit of the season for me, 100% -4 also in the next game week. FPL Sam, if you're not wildcarding, then you have to take a -8 overall, you know. -4 this week, -4 next week, I don't think it makes a huge difference, to be honest with you. If we wildcard in game week 10 and we can claw back those points really quickly, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, and by that time, I hope that I have the players to cover up for me. Today I'm relying on just maybe 4 or 5 players to actually come up, you know, come good for me. If Jordan Pickford, for the love of God, can keep a clean sheet, you know, I would be so thankful for picking him in my team, man. This has just been insane. He doesn't get save points, he doesn't get penalty saves, he just concedes goals for fun. It's just too much. Lighter says, so true, you answer multiple questions with great detail. Thank you so much, man. I try my best. That's what that's what I like doing, actually. Switched Enzo off the bench for Saka. Enzo? So you're expecting Enzo to be on penalties, I guess. That's the only reason for switching Saka, George. But yeah, I guess that's fine. It's not gonna be like Saka starts and scores a hat-trick against City. Not gonna happen. Especially on one leg, how much can you play? You know, even in the Champions League, he was looking a bit, you know, when he was hobbling, after he tried to, you know, do a drag back or drag the ball back, he was hobbling horribly. And I was pretty sure that he's not going to start. But then, for some reason, you know, Arteta in the press conference, maybe he's playing with the mind, you know, or just trying to... you know, meddle with their minds, kind of saying that yes, Saka has a chance to start, and in reality it doesn't. So who knows what's gonna happen. Arteta is Pep's disciple, and he acts the same way, never gives us anything away in the press conferences, so we just have to make do with what information we really have. Alright guys, let's do some quick predictions and then we can call it a day. I like to do these predictions whenever I can. Gives me a perspective, and after the game week, at least it helps me verify where I'm at with you know, with my thinking as per to judging what's gonna happen in the games. And yeah, so the first game, Luton versus Spurs. I think this is gonna be a 3-1 win for Spurs, guys. I don't think that Spurs keep a clean sheet. Spurs hardly keep a clean sheet ever. I think Luton at home, they can score a goal, and I'm going with the 3-1 win for Spurs. What do you think is gonna happen? 5-1. Oh, that would be awesome. Lighter says 2-0 to Spurs. That would be awesome. That would be awesome for everybody, to be honest with you, as long as Son scores the goals. And George says 3-0. Wow. That would be amazing, especially if you know, Maddison, Son can be amongst the goals, not somebody like Pape, Matar Sarr, or goddamn some, like, you know, crazy man from the midfield, or like, you know, Romero scoring headers from, you know, nonsense second balls. I just hope that it's Son, Maddison, even Destiny Udogie, maybe Pedro Porro, all these guys scoring some goals. Alright guys, moving on. Burnley versus Chelsea. This is gonna be not easy for Chelsea, I can tell you this. It's not gonna be an easy game for Chelsea. I mean, Burnley are playing well. They even played really well last week in both the games. You know, even against Newcastle, it was not a mauling like Sheffield United. Burnley played well, and against Luton they actually won the game. I was watching the game. They almost kept a clean sheet, but Luton, because they were at home, they had to score. And Adebayo, right at the end, Adebayo scored. But otherwise, they would have kept a clean sheet, and I had Jordan Bayer in the team. So I'm going with a 2-1. Zara says 4-1 to Spurs, and Todd says 3-0 to Spurs. Angie says 0-0. That would be interesting, to be honest with you. Some people still have Colville. Lighter says 2-1 to Chelsea. George says 2-1 as well. I'm saying 2-1 too. I think Chelsea gonna win 2-1. If Sterling does well in this game, guys, pray for me and pray for my sanity. Because I've held him for the last 4 game weeks and he's given me nothing but 0 and 2 points. So if he does well, spare a thought for me in your prayers. For my sanity, not for me. Todd says 1-0 to Chelsea. That would be a good score to have, to be honest with you. 1-0 to Chelsea. If for some reason Jordan Byer needs to come up from the bench, it would be amazing if he can keep a clean sheet. But I'm going with 2-1 Chelsea as well. NG says, where are you from, bro? NG, I'm from India. Northern part of India. Punjab. But basically India for you. Everton versus Bournemouth, guys. Please, for the love of God, can Everton keep a clean sheet? I mean, what happened to all those Sean Dyche comparisons with Tony Pulis? And what happened to all those clean sheets and all those resilient defenses and no attacking football? Man, that's insane, isn't it? And I think Everton are struggling to stay up this season if they're going to play like that, guys. I mean, losing to Luton 2-1 at home is insane. NG says, that's cool, bro, fan from New Zealand. Cheers, man. Nice to have you here. George says 2-2. Wow. Light Trace says 2-2 as well. And NG says 1-1. Nobody expects Pickford to keep a clean sheet. Oh, man. It's not going to happen, is it? I guess when everybody expects him to concede a goal is the game week in which he's going to keep a clean sheet. I'm hoping for the best. Fingers are crossed. And just need to make one performance before he leaves my team. FPL, some things Everton are going to lose this game. And I think it's a real possibility, guys. I don't think it's improbable. I think Bournemouth are playing good. Even in the last game, I watched their game, and although they, not against Arsenal. I mean, that's not the one to kind of. Which game did I watch? Just a second here. Yeah, this one. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. And they were good. I mean, they had a few chances. They did well. But, obviously they got hammered against Brighton. And they got hammered against Arsenal. But they're two. And now they would definitely want to come back, I guess. 1-2 says FPL Sam. 1-0 to Everton says Todd. That would be absolutely amazing. Navreet says Nunes or Diaz for long term. For long term, I would go with Diaz. Nunes is more for the short term until, like 3, 4, 5 weeks, I guess. What's the time in New Zealand now? I think it should be 5.5 hours more than what it is here. I'm not so sure though. Yeah, approximately. Alright guys, so going with Fulham versus Sheffield United. We all know the scoreline of this game already. It's going to be 2-0 to Fulham. And maybe Vinicius is going to score one. Pereira maybe. I like the left back a lot, to be honest with you guys. FPL Sam says Fulham 2-0 Sheffield United. You know who's hauling. FPL Sam, by the way, he brought in Castagna, guys. And if Castagna scores... FPL Sam has had a couple of crazy decisions this season. He brought in Son before everybody else for the hat-trick against Burnley, and he brought in Matty Cash for that haul of 2 goals. And now he's brought in Castagna, and I hope he does well for you, man. You're taking chances, and that definitely is one way to play the game, and I like that. Love that actually. Zara says 2-0 as well. NG says 1-1. George says 2-1. Light Trace says 2-1. So not everybody's calling for a Sheffield United, for a Fulham clean sheet. So some of us think that Fulham are going to concede. And Todd thinks as well. 2-1. Interesting. FPL Sam, I think we got burned not by bringing in Trippier or the Newcastle defenders. But otherwise, you've made some really good decisions this season. I gotta give it to you, bro. 2-1. Interesting. I'm going with the 2-0 to Fulham, guys. I don't expect Sheffield to... After that mauling by Newcastle United, I just can't trust this Sheffield team anywhere, any way, shape, or form, unless it shows us and performs well. Fulham's expected goal, yeah, that is true, but it's Sheffield United we're talking about, man. All right, let's quickly go ahead, guys. Manchester United versus Brentford. I'm going with the 1-0 United win, guys. I know not many of you are gonna agree with me or gonna agree with this result, but I think United are gonna win this game. I think the time has come for United to win the game, and they've been not been. They were winning against Galatasaray and they lost, and then they lost to Crystal Palace, although they had a lot of chances. But I think they're gonna win this game, guys. I'm going with the 1-0. Expected goals conceded. I know, yeah, I know, man. But they've got a keeper in Bernd Leno who saved them on many occasions. And Sheffield United, they don't have much expected goals scored, so it's gonna be all right. Light risk is 2-2. Wow, if that happens, and people who own Mbeumo are gonna feast, and those people who own Rashford and maybe Bruno Fernandes, they're gonna feast. But I'm going with a 1-0 too. I think they're gonna play a less expensive type of football. They're just gonna play to win, and they're gonna kind of what can you call it? They're gonna fight out a win, or they're gonna scratch out a win rather than win with any amount of conviction. That's what I feel for United. FPL Sam says 3-1. Interesting. Todd says 2-0. You see, it's hard to judge Manchester United. Can you see how many different predictions we have for this game? It's because Manchester United are so unreliable this season. George says 1-2 to Brentford, question mark. Wow, if that happens, it's going to be insane, and Ten Hag is going to be under a lot more pressure, especially when you lose and go into the international break. Man, it's really a lot of pressure, I can tell you that. Zara says 1-1 to Brentford. I mean, that is a very realistic possibility, to be honest with you. But I'm just being enthusiastic, and I'm going with a 1-0 to United. Manchester United have a lot of defensive injuries. Yeah, they do, but they've got some players coming back now. Varane is back. Lindelof is there. Delo. And, yes, Reguilon is out, but I still think they have sufficient cover. As long as they're not having to play Harry Maguire, I think they have enough cover. That's all I want to say about them. For example, Delo, Varane, Lindelof, and if Maguire plays, then God help them. Seriously. I mean, Amrabat at left back. Yes, Amrabat at left back, but still can do a job there. And they're playing against, Amrabat against Mbeumo is going to be interesting. I give you that. Very interesting, to be honest with you. But I still feel that this is the kind of game United can grind a win in. If not, then I'll just make myself a hot cup of tea and watch Gold Bridge's clips. That's all I do after the United game when they lose. It's just so interesting. Make myself a hot cup of tea and watch Mark Goldbridge rant. Anthony is back. Formation change up. Yeah, Anthony is back, but not sure what kind of form he's gonna be in. They've been playing Facundo Pellistri and all kinds of players there. Anthony being back will give them the stability, as long as Anthony himself is mentally up for the game. I'm not sure how he is. Anyways, we've discussed much more than we need to about United. Let's move on. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. I think this game is going to be a 1-0 kind of game. It could be a 1-1 as well. Maybe Nottingham Forest, Avanai has the physicality to compete with those players. I personally feel that Crystal Palace is going to win this game 1-0. They will have a lot of heart from going to Old Trafford and winning the game and keeping a clean sheet as well. So I'm going with a 1-0 win to Crystal Palace in this game. Nottingham Forest, these last few weeks, they've started to crack a bit. They haven't been good. Obviously, against City, you don't expect them to do well. But, even against Burnley, they conceded a goal. Obviously, they had to lose against City. No problems there. But last week, they drew against Brentford at home. So they're beginning to crack a little bit. Not crack, but, they need some results. So George says 1-0. FPL Sam says Nottingham Forest 1-0. Interesting. Lighter says 2-1 to Palace. Yeah, that would be a plausible result as well, but I'm gonna stick with the 1-0. Todd says 0-0. That would be interesting. As a lot of people have, I think a lot of people have Crystal Palace defenders. Palace 1-0. Interesting. The only reason why I didn't bring in Anderson or Mitchell is because next week they play Newcastle away, where I expect them to concede a goal. So we're all unanimously kind of agreeing, except for FPL Sam, that Palace is going to win the game, whether it's 2-1 or 1-0. So yeah, let's move on, guys. Sunday games, not very many players for me in these games, because not very many players because I've concentrated all the players in Arsenal versus Manchester City, which is the game you want to be avoiding, and I've got 4 players in this game. Not good, guys. Not good at all. Brighton versus Liverpool. I think Liverpool win this 3-1. I think they're gonna want vengeance. They're feeling let down by the VAR. And guys, we need to discuss about VAR. Have you heard that audio that came out? Man, what was Darren England doing there? I mean, it's just he said check complete, and the referee on the pitch, he whistled. He said start the game, and they started the game, and the assistant of the VAR said, hang on, it was offside. And they said, I can't do anything. They've started the game. Like, what the hell is going on? Tell them, when the match, when VAR checks are done, they take the game back 30 seconds, 40 seconds even. I've seen them take the game back 40 seconds. Why can't they stop the game and tell them to, goddamn, it's clearly onside? Come on. It was insane, guys. I think the credibility of VAR has gone down so much in the last 1 week, especially after listening to what they've done. I can't tell you. Anyways, that was my little rant. It's over now. So 3-1 to Liverpool, says Light Rays. 2-4. That would be very, very interesting. A lot of goals there. 3-1 as well. Todd and me have the same prediction. Kabore benched. Thank God I did a -4. Oh man. It's fine. Sometimes it could have been worse. Kabore could have got a minus score as well, conceding a lot of goals. 3-1 as well, says Zara, and FPL Sam says 2-3. If that's a 2-3 game, I'd love to watch that. It's going to be very interesting. So the second game of the day, guys. Moving on. West, totally agree with. Unbelievable. Paid professionals can't do the basics. Man, it was pathetic. Light Rays. It was pathetic, man. I could see it with my naked eyes. It was onside. It was clearly onside. And just tell them to stop the game. Take it back 20 seconds. How much does that impact? It was a free kick in their own box. It was not even like close to their own box. It was not like they were taking a free kick and some goal had been scored, so they couldn't call it back. But that conversation was horrible to hear. It was like too many gardeners spoil the fruit. It was just like that. It was chaos. Anarchy. West Ham versus Newcastle. Guys, I think this is gonna be a tougher game for Newcastle than they're assuming. West Ham have been in good form, and I can tell you that going to that stadium is not easy. I'm expecting West Ham to score. I'm expecting Newcastle to score as well. I'm going with a Newcastle win, maybe 2-1, but it's not going to be an easy game, I can tell you that. West Ham have got some players who can actually rip up any defense. Paqueta, Bowen, they've got some technicians right there. So I'm going with the 2-1 for Newcastle, but not an easy game. I think it's going to be a KG kind of game. Wolves versus... guys, what are your predictions here? 3-2 Newcastle, says Light Rays. Yeah, that could be possible as well. FPL Sam says 2-2. I think that could be a very real possibility. George says West Ham is going to win 2-1. Wow, interesting. Todd and me have a lot of predictions same today, which I like. 2-1 to Newcastle, says Todd as well. So moving on, guys, quickly. Wolves versus Aston Villa. Why I said quickly is because my son is knocking on the door outside because I've bolted my door and he's knocking on my door. He wants me to come out and play with him. You know, a wizard's never early, nor is he late. You know, he arrives right when he means to. So Wolves versus Aston Villa. I think this is going to be it could be a 0-0 draw kind of game, but I'm calling a 1-1 draw. I'm calling a scoring draw between them. Light Ray says 2-2. FPL some says 1-1. So it's the same prediction as me. Interesting. I hope Aston Villa keep a clean sheet. I want to cash in on my cash transfer because I didn't have the cash for Trippier. Zara 2-2. Nice. Wolves always crack the clean sheet 1-2. I mean, do you think after beating Manchester City last week, I don't expect them to lose. I mean, I hope they don't lose. You know, Todd expects Aston Villa to win 1-0. That is going to be so interesting if that happens. Really interesting. Wow. People don't know what to expect from Wolves anymore. A bit like United, you know. They can lose to a weak team. They can win against Manchester City. Who knows what they're going to do. To be honest with you, when I watched the first game of the season against Manchester United, they played United out of the park that day at Old Trafford. They were so unfortunate to lose that game. Varane scoring a fluke, not a fluke header, but a lucky header with a lucky break, I'd say. But Wolves were so good that day. So good. The last game of the game week, which I am not going to call, as you already know what I want. My heart says what my mind says. FPL Sam says Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2. Sorry, Wiz. Nah, I totally agree with you, man. I think Arsenal are a man short. And I think the best Arsenal can do in this game is to draw the game. I don't think they have enough firepower to win the game. You know, you can't expect to win the game against the treble-winning team with Nketiah, Gabriel Jesus, Reece Nelson, Leandro Trossard as your attack. You need somebody like Martinelli and Saka. You know, you need Martinelli and Saka. George says 2-1, City tend to drop points in patches. George thinks Arsenal gonna win. I love that, George. If that happens, even if it's a 2-2, guys, I'd be really happy, I'm telling you that. You know, I don't want Arsenal to lose this game. We've lost so many games to Manchester City. For the love of God, it's enough, guys. Please, just to win. I remember this one season, we were playing so well against them. I think it's a couple of seasons back. It was the end of the season. We were playing so well. We were leading. And then I think one player got sent off. And then they scored. And we were holding on to the lead. Not the lead, but we were holding on for the draw. We played like 40 minutes with 10 men at 1-1. And Rodri, right with about the last kick of the game, this goddamn Rodri scored. That hurt. That was our best chance of winning them because we were playing really well and City weren't that time. But after that last season, I mean, we were on top. But when City played against us, it was men against boys, I have to say that. Might high scoring without Rodri, I agree with that. 2-2 says Light Race. Todd says 2-3. I have 4 attackers from that game. I would want a 3-3 with Haaland hat-trick to spice up the FPL community. Saka gives away another penalty. Ha. He does. I just hope, guys, you know, it's not exactly David versus Goliath, but it's not far away from that. When anybody plays Manchester City, it's just always David versus Goliath. Yes, now KDB is out and Rodri is out, so they're not as intimidating. But Bernardo Silva coming back is not good for Arsenal, I'm telling you this. I remember that was Liverpool might have won the league if Arsenal held. I remember, bro, I just wanted to break the hoodoo of losing to these goddamn oligarchs. But no, not happening, bro. It's just too good. They're just a well-drilled, well-oiled machine. And they've got lots of oil, so they don't need to worry about oiling the machine. You know, as soon as they have a bad part, they can just replace the part and oil, use some more oil, if you know what I mean. Oil, goddamn, everywhere. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. A bit of a banter. Arsenal 2-3 City. I mean, I would love to watch that game though if it was a 2-3. Still good, you know. If that has to happen, I'd say our City scored 3 goals at the start, and then Arsenal comes back and scores 2 goals. At least give us something to cheer, you know. If that has to happen. But anyways, guys, I mean, with that we come to the end of the stream. I hope you had fun. I hope I was able to answer our questions today, and I hope you just had fun spending your deadline with me on the stream and with the rest of the community as well. Because it's just not, you're just not spending your time with me. You're actually spending the time with all of us as a community. So I hope you had fun, and I hope you enjoy your international break. I think it was a really needed break. FPL community, the FPL managers, especially ones like me, were like 3 million ranks. I think we need some time to recuperate, plan for the wild card, and come back and attack the game with more, with more rejuvenation and just more planning. I stuck to the plan, guys. I did not panic wild card, and that's a small win I take into this game week with me. Otherwise, the start has not been good, but we continue. We play as we mean to go on, guys. Not gonna change our style and hope the variance kicks in and takes it on the wings and takes us away. Anyways, guys, I'll see you after the international break, and until then, just stay healthy, take care, and may the arrows be green. FPL Visit signing out. Bye bye. Take care. See you.